Ukai is 11, Jordan is 10, and Shaquille is 7.
I would get it. No wasn't in my vocabulary,
We're talking about your eating habit.
I probably eat once a day.
Okay, if you're eating once a day, you're gaining 4.
Get me through all my struggles in life. No matter if it's sadness, depression.
That's sustainable. So what drives you to eat, hunger or habit?
Habit.
Day, no soda, no sugary thing, no carb. And then I want you to lose 40.
Number 3. Cynthia Wells. She was the only hope for a normal life for the 5 children dependent on her for their care. 3 of her eldest were actually her nephews and nieces, who joined her since her sister couldn't save them from a maltreating father. 2 were born from her own womb. At 42 years of age, Cynthia Wells was the light of their lives for these kids.
Kaya! My daughter comes in and she'll clean out the back of my legs because my arm.
She tries not to be lazy. She tries to do a lot, but she can't.
Ukai is 11, Jordan is 10, and Shaquille is 7. My biggest thing right now is just being a better mother.
When I see my mom hurting a lot, it makes me feel.
Come hell or high water, she had to survive and be strong for their sakes. So how come her own care slipped through the gaps and left her with 603 pounds on her medium frame? While the stresses of taking care of 5 children on her own left her life a wreck, how she performed on Dr. Now's program wasn't any better.
Care of 5 children at that weight. So you're 42 and they like kids. You need to start making changes now. I want you to walk.
Cynthia soon enjoyed a reputation of being one of the most controversial patients on Dr. Now's program and seemed to lock horns with him on more than one occasion. Her desperation to take charge of her own destiny was quite visible, and her guilt of not being able to take care of her kids like other mums was easily decipherable. Her trips to Houston for each check-in were extremely difficult experiences, because there was no pot of gold at the end of each rainbow. She was stuck in a vicious cycle of poverty, whereby she was unable to make good money due to the constraints put on her by her enormous weight, and at the same time, she was unable to withstand the financial constraints of putting herself on a diet. She threw in the towel on one occasion under the strain and not being able to get any satisfaction of weight loss from her visits to Dr. Now. Frustrated and angry because of the toll it was taking on her ability to feed her family, she actually refused to show up for any more appointments. Prickly as a porcupine she might be, there were 5 pieces of her heart beating outside of her body, and she was willing to go to any length required to keep them safe and happy. The biggest motivation she found for making the extra effort and going the extra mile was to see her daughter dance at her recital and to be able to go outside with her children as they went about having fun in the park. Within no time, she turned her life completely around and started losing weight according to the program. Though extremely controversial, Cynthia also turned out to be the biggest inspirational story of my 600-pound life, and for very good reason.
I hadn't been going to the gym.
What?
Hadn't been exercising.
We're not talking about exercise, okay? You gained 4 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with that?
I've been.
Yeah, having an upper respiratory infection is not an indication of falling off your diet. We're talking about your eating habit.
I probably eat once a day.
Okay, if you're eating once a day, you're gaining 4 pounds.
I gained 4 pounds. And that was a major issue for him.
So what do you say the next step? Back on track.
And I'm struggling to pay to get down to Texas for this doctor. My kids look at me every answer because I'm trying to get my ass down here. And if this is what it's gonna turn me into.
The people who care about you, so keep going in that direction.
But I'm sacrificing. Look what I'm sacrificing, Clarence.
It's you giving up stuff.
Number 2. Tammy Payton. Tammy Payton topped out at 594 pounds at just 41 years of age when she appeared on the show, and with 3 kids depending on her outlook was particularly dim. As a child, she'd suffered a particularly traumatic upbringing. But before everything went to hell, her earliest memories of living under the same roof as her parents were one of happiness and contentment. She and her brother were unaware of any problems until their symptoms started appearing in their daily lives, with the mother unable to make ends meet. Her father became a drug addict, and after her family moved to Texas to start fresh, Peyton became reliant on food. Peyton's mother never restricted her food intake, despite realizing that her daughter was in trouble. The choices she made along the way led her to weigh over 300 pounds by the time she graduated from high school. Unknown to her, her mother had been struggling with her own issues and, like a typical doormat, she'd taken the road of least resistance in the case of her daughter, just like she did in the case of her husband.
I would get it. No wasn't in my vocabulary. I don't want it to get to the point where it's unbearable. I'm already shocked. I ways around your addiction. So how can you stop when it's like that?
As Tammy entered adulthood, she got the surprise of her life when she found out that her mother was addicted to drugs and had to get herself admitted to a rehab center. With two parents hooked onto one addiction or another, it's no surprise that Tammy's life had taken a similar path, although the drug of her choice was food instead of any chemical substances. As she entered her adult years, her weight issues started to take a toll on her physically, mentally, and emotionally. Mother to 3 kids with a grandbaby she wanted to see grow up, Tammy was very much aware of the very short and painful future she was looking at up ahead. Despite having full knowledge and realization of what she was doing to herself, she did not stay her hand from ordering all that food and then eating it with absolute enjoyment. This enjoyment was most definitely a double-edged sword, and while she munched away as if there was going to be no tomorrow, she knew very well that each morsel passing her lips and going down her throat was poison to her, something she would have to pay for dearly with the passage of time. She knew something had to change, and seeing Dr. Now Zaradan was a last shot at turning her life around.
Something like that, but none of them have worked.
Well, none of them work because there's the root issues you need to change. So that's the reason that never worked long term. Because it's not the choice to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, then there is no magic I can do to be hungry all the time. I can understand, but eating from habit, there is no excuse for that.
It's in my body.
All right, so if you want to lose weight, then from here on out, you need to make sure it's sustainable. So what drives you to eat, hunger or habit?
Habit.
You're the one who has to make the choice to follow it, and you're going to have to do the hard work.
Yes, sir.
On a healthy BMI. But right now, you're 5'5". So your BMI is almost 100. Is?
No.
50 years. So you're in your 40s. So part and make the changes, okay?
Yes, sir.
We'll give you instruction for those changes. You're way away from that, and you have over 400 pounds to lose to get to that weight.
Number 1. Ashley Taylor. Ashley Taylor, the catfish, was 24 and a resident of Temple, Texas, when she appeared on My 600 Pound Life. She complained vociferously about the effect of her immense weight gain had had on her body and how it had made life center around only 2 feelings, one of depression and one of pain, which radiated all over her body.
Anytime there's food around me, I can't help myself because I am addicted to food. I can't get me through all my struggles in life. No matter if it's sadness, depression.
All she wanted was a chance to have some element of normality in her life. Helpless in the face of desperation, she reached out to Dr. Now Zaradan for his advice, who put her on a stringent diet and exercise plan. It seemed that there was a miscommunication, which was muddying the waters. Ashley had been looking for something akin to a get-out-of-jail-free card and an immediate resolution of her problem from the going under the knife. But what Dr. Now had planned for her was a lengthy and tedious journey of proving her commitment to weight loss before he approved her for bariatric surgery.
Members with emotional issues, psychiatric issues, or substance use problems, you've done some things.
I've done some stuff to hurt them. I'm no angel.
So now you have...
And I went viral. That's why me and my family don't talk, because it hurt them.
Online personas.
Exactly.
And so your alter ego, this other persona. And so can you tell me what some of these personalities represented for you? And what percentage represented sadness?
50%.
You to listen to what I'm about to describe to you, okay? You're describing a psychotic break, transparent, online description and profile for yourself, okay?
Do it.
Okay, Ashley. Thanks so much for being here today, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ashley was even sent to a counselor to deal with her emotional roadblocks, and a frank admission of her faulty methods was a refreshing change, but not for long. While Ashley was waxing poetic about how many changes she'd made to her life and how she had chucked out her fried food eating ways along with the calorie-laden habits, she made the interesting confession that she still had stashes of the type of food which she liked hidden around her house. So she had given the task of losing 20 pounds before her next appointment with Dr. Now, but the weighing scale showed a dismal weight loss of only 10 pounds.
Made in your eating habit.
I stopped eating out like you told me to.
Okay.
I stopped drinking.
See if we can work with you on some things. So I want you to start that. I know you don't think you need no soda, no sugary thing, no carb. And then I want you to lose what you should be losing in a month. But I want you to show me some consistency with that too.
Since our last appointment.
This is a good step to admit that. But then how do you see the surgery going to change that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's why you need to keep working with psychotherapy, okay?
Yeah.
Though she'd not met her goal, Ashley was ecstatic and over the moon because even a 10-pound weight loss was nothing to thumb your nose at. But Dr. Now was not impressed and didn't approve her for surgery, even though Ashley felt she deserved it. Her weigh-in at her next appointment was even worse with a 2-pound weight loss. Not only had she not met her weight loss goal, but she hadn't had myriad blood tests done, which had been required by the clinic, and the reason she gave for it was an astounding one. Once confronted, she led a charge against Dr. Now and led it straight out of the office and out the entrance door to her car. Thus came about the exit of Ashley, the catfish from the show. That's all we have for you folks. Join us next time.